When the U.S. Navy is still in how to fill the Ticonderoga-class cruiser retirement left behind the war power vacuum and anxious, why China can be 1 to 2 ships per year speed batch construction of the world's top 0.55 million tons of destroyers. This phenomenon not only reflects the U.S. and China's naval power, but also reveals the essential differences between the two countries' industrial systems and strategic planning, from shipbuilding capacity to technology iteration, from cost control to system construction. China is reconstructing the pattern of maritime power, with the systematic advantages of the industrialization era. Since the launch of the first ship, in 2017 to 2023, the first batch of 8 ships in service, China completed the formation of the world's largest 10,000-ton destroyer fleet in just 6 years, a speed far exceeding the U.S. Burke-class destroyer construction cycle. By 2025, the second batch of 055 has been launched. 4 ships, the total number of 12 ships built, is expected to break through the scale of 16 ships before 2030, the formation of a strategic deployment covering the 3 fleets. Compared to the U.S. 9 Ticonderoga-class cruisers in service, China's 10,000 tons of large drive not only in the number to achieve the reverse, but also in the formation of technological advantages of the generation gap, which carries the 346B active phased array radar detection distance of 450 kilometers, the U.S. ship SPY-6 radar 1.5 times, 112 units of 850 mm caliber large caliber pitot tube system, can be compatible with the YJ-21 hypersonic missiles, the end of the speed of surprise defense Super Mach 10, far beyond the limit of the U.S. Army's current standard 6 missile Mach 4.5. Dalian shipyard satellite images show that a single dock can simultaneously build 2055 and 1052 DL destroyer, with a total tonnage of 43,000 tons, equivalent to the French Navy destroyers, and 1.3 times behind this, dumpling-type shipbuilding capacity. Is China's shipbuilding industry for 15 consecutive years ranked first in the world's industrial base? 2025 military ship production capacity exceeded 200,000 tons. The annual output of a single dock is equivalent to the U.S. Ingalls shipyard's 10 years combined. More amazing is the ability to control costs. 055 per ton cost only 540,000 yuan, while the U.S. Burke type as high as 2.2 million yuan, 4 times the gap. Mapping modular construction, supply chain integration and other industrialization of the core capacity of the generation difference. 055's strategic value lies not only in the performance of a single ship, but also in its role as the hub of the system node. The ship adopts integrated radio frequency technology, the original dispersion of more than 30 electronic equipment, integrated into 4 dual-band phased array radar, electromagnetic spectrum management efficiency by 60%. Its dual command center design allows a single ship to simultaneously command 12 carrier aircraft and 8 wingmen, with the ability to replace the aircraft carrier as the command center of the formation. This platform advantage in the second batch of 055 be further strengthened, displacement increased to 16,000 tons, vertical hair unit expansion to 128, and may be equipped with electromagnetic rail gun and laser interception system to achieve from kinetic energy weapons to directed energy weapons across. Compared to the U.S. Navy's compromise of dispersing the cruiser's functions to the Burke II destroyer, China has chosen a dual-track parallel strategy. The 055 focuses on high-end sea control, and the 052D series undertakes general-purpose tasks. At present, the 4th batch of 052DM has been replaced with 055, homologous 346B radar, 64-unit pitot tube system, can be mixed and loaded with YJ-18 anti-ship missiles, and Longsword 10 land control cruise missiles. The single-ship integrated combat effectiveness of 85% of the Burke class, while the construction cost of only 40% of the cost of the Burke class. By 2025, 38 series will form a high and low collocation, with 12055 building the second largest destroyer fleet in the world. China and the United States shipbuilding capacity is essentially a duel of the degree of industrialization. China has 41 state-owned shipyards and more than 2,000 supporting enterprises. forming a complete industrial chain from special steel to gallium nitride chips. Jiangnan Shipyard adopts the giant section construction method, which divides the 055 into 68 modules for simultaneous construction, shortening the hull molding cycle to 9 months, 60% shorter than that of the same type of ship in the United States. On the contrary, the United States, Newport News Shipbuilding for the construction of Ford-class aircraft carriers, had to restart the 100,000 tons of hydraulic presses sealed for 30 years, exposing the dilemma of supply chain disruption. More serious is the manpower disconnect. The average age of the U.S. shipbuilding industry reached 54 years old, less than 12% of skilled workers under the age of 30, while China's 3 major shipbuilding bases each year to deliver 120,000 professional tradesmen. This industrial potential difference is directly projected to the effectiveness of the Navy's budget. The U.S. Navy is sitting on $250 billion in annual funding, but 70% of it is consumed in the maintenance of the existing fleet, and only 30% is used for research and development procurement. Burke destroyer due to frequent design changes lead to the first ship construction took 7 years. The cost of a single ship soared to $2.5 billion US, equivalent to China's 0.553 times. China will focus on military spending on equipment renewal. 2025 naval equipment procurement investment accounted for 45% of the formation of construction, iteration, rebuild of the positive cycle. This difference in the field of aircraft carriers is also significant. China to realize the construction rhythm of 1 ship in 5 years, while the U.S. Ford II ship due to budget overruns delayed until 2029. The launch, the interval lengthened to 10 years. By 2030, with 16 055 and 81 destroyers composed of the Great Wall of Steel molding, the Chinese Navy will have the ability to implement saturation strikes in the second island chain, a single 055, carrying 112 YJ-21 missiles. Its range radius is sufficient to Guam into the circle of fire. The U.S. Navy may then face the dilemma of the total number of ships, shrunk to 285, of which only 5 cruisers remain aging ships. More far-reaching impact is the concept of combat innovation. China is relying on 055 to build a distributed kill chain through the satellite, AWACS, destroyer data chain fusion, to achieve 2,000 kilometers away from the multi-platform coordinated strikes. The systematic advantage of the U.S. military has admitted that the traditional aircraft carrier formation defense system is at risk of failure. In this century-old change of sea power, 055 destroyer is not only the crystallization of steel and missiles, but also the national will and industrial civilization of the figurative presentation. When the United States is still for the DDG-X design drawings debate, China's shipyard welding flower has lit the outline of the next generation of destroyers. According to foreign media disclosure, full load displacement of 17,000 tons of 055C type, or will be used in the all-electric propulsion and artificial intelligence command system, and its technological span or will be a direct counterpart of the U.S. in the 2040s plan for the future warships. The technology span may be directly comparable to the future warships planned by the United States in the 2040s. This race across generations reveals the essence of modern sea power. It is no longer a battle of the caliber of the ship's guns, but the ultimate duel between the industrialized system and the ability of scientific and technological innovation.